And here we are, sitting in the setup. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first of 3 games. This should be very interesting. As we can see, we're here with our red team, as the blue is sitting behind. One bullet is playing medic with the Kritzkrieg. Now that's going to be very interesting, very useful for coming out the gate. However, oops, one thing I did forget to do.
We have heavy spam coming from both sides.
Sorry guys, I do apologize for that. This is my first time ever shoutcasting TF2. So it is interesting that we're going to be seeing a heavy medic combo, especially with the Kritzkrieg. I'd think something more like a demo with stickies would be a little more effective coming out the gate, but you never know. Especially when you have another Uber coming out. I can see that. Can see snipers. Now it's going to be very important during this to be able to shut down a sniper if they're good enough. A sniper who's not good enough will just miss headshots every time, but stopping a good sniper is going to be very important, especially in the big pushes. Alright, and here we are. Big push is coming out. Defensive scout. Alright, here they move out. You can see... There goes the medic moving out. Now this is going to be very important, this opening medic. Very interesting kind of dichotomy between the two medics. When are you going to pop your Uber? What point? What time? Things like that. Okay, Alright, moving in to capture the first point. Pretty good. Haven't encountered a lot of heavy resistance yet. Setting up a mini-sentry. Pretty smart, especially if you're going to get flanked. You kind of want to have that extra defense, even if it is just a mini-sentry. Uber's still up. Now this is important because even though the other team has not yet set their Uber, it's going to be very important to see. And it appears one of the players has left the game. We gotta continue on without him. Alright, we can see some shots getting laid down over here, and the first point has been captured, adding 3 minutes to the timer for a total of 8 minutes and 15 seconds. Uh-oh. And it appears we have paused in order to let one of our players come back in. That's good, or am I crashing? Turns out I was not crashing. Sorry, just wanted to check. Alright. We are paused. I'm assuming it's just because Shogun there ended up leaving, but you know. There he is. Alright, and it appears we're going to be underway shortly. There we are, and we are back. Alright, moving away from the snipers. Let's get some action here. Setting up a defensive sentry, always very useful, especially during good choke points. Got 8 minutes, so this is going to be pretty important to have defensive sentries, because 8 minutes is a very long time, as a matter of fact. Alright. Scout moving out here. Scout's going to be very effective in taking out the snipers and the medics. Those are usually their 2 main objectives. And scouting with our sentries. Kind of important. Unfortunately, he died. Alright, sniper going to be very effective, and that appears to be a spy. Okay, it turns out it's not. I'm just being paranoid. Alright, now here comes the Uber to help take out the heavy and the medic. If he can get the medic, that'd be quite worth it, especially since he still has Uber, and there goes the pop, so the medic will get away. But he did get him to waste the Uber, so it's not a complete loss. Scout coming in here. It appears the sentry is down. This is going to be pretty big. Alright, moving on to the second point. We can see stickies on it, so the heavy's wise to move away. And by the way, for those of you who are wondering, I am going to be mainly focusing on a player who's in the center of the action. Not necessarily focusing on just one player, so if you see me following one, don't be disconcerted by that, but we can see heavy fighting over here as the medic is back over here fighting, and the medic goes down, it would appear. No, that's big. Okay, the heavy's back on the field. This is going to be important. I can see Barrack moving up here, and the spy going past. Alright, here comes the blue medic and a blue demo man. Should be very effective, especially since the heavy doesn't see him. He's not, of course, the last line of defense for this. He has teammates, and it appears spy coming up to kill him, get him spy, and he's dead. Sniper moving into position as blue gets a little bit down on this point. Coming in from behind, we have our faithful I'm totally ringing soldier. Very nice. However, still pressure on the point. No good whatsoever. Alright, moving around here, we can see the red team's kind of setting up, moving across. Here comes the medic, here to heal this demo. Medic could be really key for this push, or counter push, I should say. But it appears they're not going to have enough time unless something really big happens in a moment. Okay, now we're here with the medic. This point is almost possibly secure. Yep. Okay, and now the pyro comes in. Gonna do a lot of damage, but in the end, he just ends up getting killed. Does a lot of damage, though. Now the medic is down. That was interesting. The pyro was able to damage him enough to where the soldier can actually get in and kill him. That's going to be big, especially for a push. Because now people are going to be injured, even though blue responds faster, obviously. Which, not too big a deal, but still, helps slow the push down. Soldier defending the point over here as a demo man and heavy move in. One soldier moving back. We can hear a sentry up ahead. Never any good. Alright, let's kind of go with the free camera a little bit. Never mind. Alright. Can you guys tell it's my first time shoutcasting a TF2 match? Alright, heavy eating a sandwich, moving on. Blue continuing to push up to this point. Now, usually the third point is the hardest to get because it's closest up. The red team spawns very close to it, and as you can see, that close spawn point is very useful. You'll definitely see a sentry here as the one engineer on both sides are tending to kind of position. Mini sentries will be very good for helping to defend counter pushes because even if you get pushed back, a mini sentry is kind of annoying to that process. You can see a soldier moving in to take out that demo man. Very good. And again, I don't have a bias towards blue team. We're simply watching them because they are at the forefront of the action. Alright, we can see this medic and this demo man moving in. We can see the sentry set up back here. And the sentry's getting sapped as the engineer gets taken down by a backstab. This is going to be pretty big, especially if they can't find the spy and the engineer cannot respond in time. Because having that sentry down will make them give them a much more vulnerable position. Even though the medic's still up and the heavy's still up, it's still going to be vulnerable. You're going to hear the sniper laying down some covering fire. He's going to be important for shutting down some of those key lanes. So instead of having to being able to move down the middle, people are going to have to take other routes, which will force fights where people will not necessarily want them. You can see the heavy taking out an engineer here. Taking down the engineer on blue is not the biggest deal. However, we do see that blue is capping the point. This could be quite big, especially considering there's just one person. Who is he? Okay, now there's two people up here, and that is game one, ladies and gentlemen, with the GDT blue winning the match. Alright, here comes game two. You can see the teams are reversed. What was once red is now blue, and what was once blue is now red. So head over to the defending team. We can follow the scout. Alright. Now, riding pretty high now, considering that they just got the win, but they have to be very cautious here. Again, beginning things more like early sentry placement, because you can't get a very high level sentry up at the beginning of the game. When to pop your Uber as a medic, exact positioning as a heavy or a sniper or a soldier, things like that will be very useful. You can see the heavy using his gloves of running urgently to get quicker to the front lines more quickly. Very useful. Yes, indeed, Spy. Let us move. Alright, Pyro can be very useful here, especially considering that he has very good flanking ability and the ability to do a lot of damage to a lot of people very quickly, which sounds like everybody, but what I mean just by the burst of fire that comes out. Very useful. Sniper again, shining down lanes, and here goes the offense, leading the charge with the heavy medic, going to be very useful. Now, if the sniper can lay down a nice headshot against the heavy here, weaken him, perhaps even panic the medic into spinning his Uber. That'd be very useful, or even headshot the medic, that'd be even better. Everyone moving into position, point one is falling. It appears red team is going to acquiesce this point to them. Kind of smart if you want to focus on the point behind that, just you actually have a better line of defense after that. Actually a very smart move on their part. A little risky because you can't necessarily defend, because you're already down one defense, right, and you can't take that back. It's a little scary, but indeed, here comes red now, seemingly with an ambush. Scout coming in to do a little bit of damage, and Pyro doing a little bit. Otherwise, however, not too much resistance here from our good old red team. Here comes the Pyro again to do a little bit of damage. Not too much that he can do alone, especially with this heavy medic combo, and with the medic having an Uber. Pretty darn scary. Scout taking pot shots at him, and the Pyro goes down, getting attacked from behind. Heavy's got to pay careful attention to his medic at the moment, because definitely losing his medic is a very big deal. And it'd be kind of scary to lose his medic, especially since they're going to be the driving force of this push. Perhaps not the heavy, but a heavy's always very good for a push, considering that he can do a lot of damage very quickly, and considering that he has very high health, even outside of a Uber. You can see just a little bit of scarce resistance here, laying down some fire on the scout. Sniper is down, of course. As I said earlier, snipers can be very useful or very easy to shut down, depending on the sniper. You can see the scout getting shut down in a scout duel. Now, in a scout duel, having a scout over the other, and it appears that the super has been popped as I'm charging into the point, gonna have to be very careful not to get separated, because losing the super will be very painful, even though it's getting a little bit wasted, and by that I mean that it's not being used very much. And now goes the red Uber. This is gonna push this back completely. But yes, with two scouts, if you can get a scout on blue to kill the scout on red, then having that scout is going to be very useful. However, if you can also get the scout on red, and it appears my frames are dropping, however, if you can also get that scout on red to stay alive, having that scout will be very useful, because he can take down snipers, he can harass medics, he can do anything, really. And I apologize for that momentary lapse in frames. Sniper getting taken down. Alright, heavy's still up, both heavies are still up, and the red medic is still up. That's also very useful, because he's building in that Uber, ready for the next push. Very useful to have. Guarding all those points. Now, they gotta be careful with this scout here, even though he's not here to stick around. Getting all that scouting information on if the medic's still alive, or what kind of Uber the medic has, or an Uber at all. And we can see the Blue soldier laying down some fire over there, and we have a heavy duel over here with some fire being laid down. Soldier over here as the red soldier attempts to defend his point and kill this sniper. Very useful. Medic comes out the gate, a 0 Uber. It's going to be interesting to see how quickly he can build that, because it's going to be very critical for his team to have that Uber. Moving out with the Pyro now. They're still holding on to their second point. While they still have 6 minutes left, they're doing a lot better than the last team actually did. Because if you remember correctly, the last team actually fell pretty quickly, and the red medic here in a little bit of trouble, but he takes down the engineer quickly. Now you see the point getting defended further. This heavy's gonna fall, which is a little bit unfortunate, considering that... Oh, there we go. We got the respawn just in time. Very nice. And point A is under attack by blue team. This is gonna be interesting to see, considering they have 4 people up. Moving in here to kill this medic. That'll just kind of set the last nail in the coffin. They'll have to defend point 3, and while I think they've shown that they can defend a point rather easily, they're gonna have to stay focused here and really keep going. Alright. Scout moving out. This is important too. The blue medic almost has an Uber. He's 20% away. This is going to be very useful for the next charge, or even just getting into the point where you'd want the next charge. Because taking out sentries isn't the only thing you can do with a medic's Uber. Instead, what you can do all the time is get to a point where you can actually start the push, because sometimes the biggest level of defense is just in front of that. And the medic now has his Uber. This is a crit streak medic, remember, so that while useful, it'll be a little bit more difficult to use. We can hear the mini sentry going up, and we heard a sentry going up earlier. Soldier moving in to do something and ends up getting himself blown up. Blue engineer moving back. And we can see that it's kind of evolved into a little bit of a cat and mouse, with blue charging forward and testing the defenses while red kind of consolidates and pulls back. We can see the red medic is still up, healing that heavy. Going to be very useful for defending this. Sniper's got to get into position to help start laying down some shots on this. Even if he can't get any headshots off, it'll still be useful for covering lanes. Very nice that he can kill that scout. Almost some nice spy work there, but the soldier figured him out. And we're back to the heavy and medic. Final point here, of course. And, as you can see, GDT's time is almost over. So red was able to successfully defend here. Very nice. And red wins, ladies and gentlemen. Red is able to hold out. Team GDT wins Game 2, and we are going to move on to Game 3 with a 2-0 lead. If they play a Game 3, I'm not sure they will. Considering that it is a best of 3, they might just play the best of 3 for the formality. I will cut ahead to when I see you guys next time. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, back with Game 3. Last round, red team, which was actually being played by GDT, won with a very nice defense. You can see the match hasn't even really started yet, but I'm kind of giving a little bit of a preface here, since we will be. This will probably be just a little bit of GURP, but even if it is, I kind of want to give you guys just a bit of segue, a bit of a midway to tell you guys what's going on. You can see everyone's kind of setting up here, kind of just moving over. It's pretty good, everyone's just switching teams. Now I have to say, just a little bit of commentary, I'm actually impressed by a few things on both sides. The heavy medic on both sides I actually think is going pretty well. The one issue that I do have with the heavy medic, I believe it's on blue team. The blue team... Oh no, red team right now, I apologize. Team HF. You'll have to forgive me, I'm not too well acquainted with these teams. The only problem that I seem to find with Team HF is that they don't necessarily focus on the heavy medic combo, but instead what they end up doing is they focus on a combination that doesn't always work depending on the skill level. So for instance, while a medic and demoman can be exceptionally useful in taking out groups of enemies and in taking out sentries, I mean, it's very powerful, don't get me wrong. For some of these pushes, you don't necessarily want a demoman, you want a heavy, because a heavy can tank, he can do a lot of damage, he's very intimidating. And I mean, you don't take intimidation into account a lot, but that's definitely something that can be very useful. We're going to see here just a little bit of back and forth banter. Red Devilman just kind of proving his mettle. Everyone freaking out. But I am very impressed with the current, with GDT's heavy medic combination, because they just tend to do it very well. Defending the point, falling back. They seem to have a very good chemistry and working together. And they seem to actually flow together. They seem to know what each other should be doing, and they work together very well. So that's been pretty good. We haven't really seen sentries come into play a lot. I mean, we've seen the blue sentries, and sorry, team's just readying up. We've seen some sentries just kind of cover against counter pushes and stuff like that, but it really hasn't been all that big of a deal. Sentries getting taken out very easily, if being put up at all. If medics, or not medics, if engineers are not able to get them put up, which they really haven't been. Have been impressed with the scout work. Not so much with the sniper work. They're kind of getting shut down. The sniper work's getting shut down pretty well because they're kind of sticking around at the front lines because these games are going by very fast. You know, I have to apologize for the squeaking of the chair that I'm sitting in. Because this game's going by very fast, and a sniper needs time to set up, be able to take shots, be able to shut down a lane. And when I say lane, I'm not referring to something like in League of Legends. I'm referring to like areas that have multiple entrances, and I'm just referring to those entrances as lanes. So that's really where a sniper's strength lies. When it comes to everyone else, I'm thinking they're doing a pretty good job. Just interesting dichotomy to see here. Anyway, guys, when we are ready for Game 3... Oh, it appears we're ready now. I was actually going to cut away. By the way, I have no timer. Like, alright, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, Game 3. We see Team GDT on blue, and Team HF on red. Should be interesting. Last time, GDT did very well defending themselves. Again, the heavy meta combo was actually very effective in doing that. Alright, this time it appears we're going to be following, I forgot the name again. I apologize. HF. I apologize, guys. I'm not acquainted with these teams at all. Team HF, alright, setting up a point 1, whereas last time we actually saw that GDT, instead of defending point 1 with all they had, actually fell back and defended point 2, which I think ended up working a lot better because they were able to hold more time, stuff like that. I'd also like to draw your attention to something that I made a mistake last time. You see the time at the top where it says setup? During the main match, don't be looking at that, instead be looking at time to the left, because that is going to be the time that we're going to be following for the actual match. The other one is an interesting point of reference, considering that it'll tell us, okay, that's how much time has been added, that's how much time has necessarily gone by, stuff like that. You can see that time hasn't been set yet, but it's set by a capture. Kind of just meant to help games not go long, and here we go, alright. Heavy getting taken out pretty quickly by the heavy medic over here, and the heavy actually gets taken down, but the medic ends up getting away, popping his Uber. This is going to be very big because this medic still has his Uber up. Basically, we can hear a sentry going off. Alright, we have another Uber, or that's the same Uber coming up. The medic just found someone. Alright, medic has now popped his Uber, and we are now defending. Alright, we are now attacking. B is falling slowly to the Team GDT. Medic's almost down, but he has done his part, even though it would be a detriment to lose him to a death at this point. He'll respond quickly enough. We see the scout over here taking the point. Very nice. Sniper kind of finding himself over here. Soldiers getting in a duel. See the engineer moving out. Maybe going to lay down a mini-sentry, about to be flanked by heavy, however. Alright. Scout's moving out again. Scout's job really is almost what his name is. To scout. So getting a good read on what level sentry's up, getting a good read on everything is going to be exceptionally useful for this. And of course doing the harassment that I was talking about earlier. You can see blue moving in, making some headway actually, doing a pretty decent amount of damage, especially since the red medic is down. Red moving in slowly, kind of moving in groups. Blue scout is down, everyone's falling, and here goes blue taking point A with a group of 4 people. Pretty effective, heavy moving off the point. I'm not sure how much I like this play. In the end, it definitely works because he's able to scout, he's able to get a better look at everything that's going on. Medic actually pops his Uber here, in a hope to actually get something done. But like this, once the heavy leaves, everyone starts to kind of move away from the point, so you'll end up not capturing it as quickly. You can hear the medic fighting in the background. Alright. Kind of just a little bit of a lull, moving over here to point C. Soldier getting killed. We can see some pretty heavy resistance over here, as there should be. Alright. It appears that the timer on the left is not the timer, then I'm not entirely sure what that is, so let's just completely ignore it. Red has 9 minutes to defend this. This should be interesting. I think they can do it. They just need to be a little bit more focused and organized, because mainly they just feel like they're throwing themselves at blue team, which is really doing nothing and accomplishing nothing. You can see red sniper setting up a lane over here. Pretty effective. You gotta be careful of that scout, however. And C is being captured. Sniper moving in to take this out. It appears he's gonna be the only hope. Of course, it's the spy. Alright, he's down with... There goes the scout, and the scout's about to capture the point C, and this is about to be the end of Game 3, ladies and gentlemen. GDT wins. So far, they have clinched it. So far. Alright. GDT now on red. Moving out, we can see Shogun, the scout. He's gonna be he actually capped the point in the last one, so he's already shown that he can be very effective as not only a utility, but as a harassment. Alright. Red moving out. Again, blue just doesn't feel organized. They feel like they're throwing themselves at the enemy instead of moving together in well-organized packs, which was what red feels like they're doing. Red, and I'm saying red in reference to GDT, red is very organized. They're very, okay, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're doing it. They're moving in, heavy medic always goes first, or heavy, or medic, and then whoever he's healing goes first, leads the charge. They're very organized with when they pop their Ubers, what point they're going to defend, things like that. And I definitely think that's translating, considering that right now we have a shutout on our hands, ladies and gentlemen.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Alright, we can see the heavy medic on offense, moving out. Using gloves of running urgently. He's got to be careful not to use them too much as he moves into the front of the battle. Don't want to be mini-critted. Even though you have an Uber on stock, you want to save that. Throwing out the sandwich, and here we go! Red meeting them with a pretty decent amount of resistance at this point. It appears that they've decided to actually take the point this time. I'm kind of just showing you guys there who's on what team. Red is GDT, and HF is blue. Alright, well, it appears that even though the soldier was there before, same amount of resistance as last time, and there he is, coming to move out, and takes out the medic before he can get his Uber off. That's huge. Being able to do so much damage, but alas, the point is still going to be theirs. Taking out that medic's going to be very useful, though, because that Uber takes a long time to build up in regular game. And you can see that both timers are now moving. So, of course, if they don't capture a point within a minute and 53 seconds, they will lose the match. However, if they don't win the match in 5 minutes, they'll also have lost the match. Kind of sitting back defending the point here. Gotta be careful of stickies, because that's what a demo man is exceptionally good at, being able to take out enemies through windows. Gotta be careful standing in one place heavy, even though you're healing yourself. Probably best to wait for your medic. Don't want to be sniped by a demo man. Also kind of want to stand on the point heavy. Alright. Demo man moving in to cover him. And the point has been captured. Appears that that did not increase any more time, so blue has a little bit of trouble on their hands, as red only has another minute and 17 seconds to defend. Moving over to red here, we're going to see some shotgun battles going off in the corridor. Not too bad, we can see that red has a mini-sentry set up, and this will be pretty darn useful in defending their point, especially since there's only a minute left. Defending this point will be relatively easy, I mean, because as you can see, there is a wall here, things like that. So for instance, this entire wall is going to be covered, whereas you only have to defend this point, and this point, which is still 3 directions, but not nearly as bad as 4. We can see the sniper setting up over there. Nothing too bad. Dome man moving in along this side, and red spy moving in. Alright. Can see some heavy battles. Blue's getting pretty well shut down at the moment by a combination of flanking by scouts, and kind of drawing a lot of taking fire by the heavy. And where is blue? They're nowhere to be found, and there's only 30 seconds left. You can see the medic, he's obviously typing something or saying something, as these teams are voice chatting. Alright. You can see the sniper doing his best to lay down some covering fire, but to no avail. And it appears that this is going to be out of the series, is going to be a 2 out of 3 given to GDT. And that is it. GDT wins by defending the point for long enough. Again, HF just didn't feel like they were doing enough to actually move together like a team. They were just attacking. And just killing, or they weren't moving forward enough. Or just small things like that, where red was able to fall back, defend the point very well, or not even defend the first point, just deal some damage. And I think especially that killing that medic at the beginning was very useful. Because it really shut down their ability to actually get a good push going. Which is important to stress. Well, it appears that we have a 2 out of 3 game shutout. Very well played. Both teams did play well. Not bad at all. Well, I think that HF did obviously play worse, not only because they lost, but because I just genuinely think that they played worse. They still played a very good game of TF2. They were able to capture points, they were able to put some pressure on. I definitely, again, I thought that their heavy medic combo still felt very good. It still felt very good. I'm trying to come up with something more verbose. As in, they were able to move forward together as a team and able to cover each other and be able to look out for each other, even though the medic ended up dying. Not too big of a deal. Alright. Well, it appears that we're going to be playing another game. I'm thinking. I'm not entirely sure, so I'll see you guys next time.